Now, interestingly, these cover crops now have been in for 10 weeks. We drilled them middle of August, straight into the straw behind the combine. And we've done really a trial across the whole of this particular field of different seed rates, different types of cover crops. I think maybe my main concern of cover crops up to this year has been the high seed rate and the extortionate cost of seeds. Really, I think what I wanted to try and experiment is if I reduce the seed rate and bring it down so the actual seed cost is certainly no more than £15 an acre, and most of these towards this end have been £10 an acre costs. If I can then drill direct into stubble, not lose moisture, I should, as we've got across the whole field, get a good cover and really make the best of what we're trying to do. My view is that if this is going to be spring cropping, with this particular field will be spring wheat, I want to get as much green cover behind the combine, get the sort of the crops working on the soil. Some of these are particularly good at roots, some are harvesting more of the energy. We're locking up the carbon, nutrients and whatever else we can. And for me, this is a much better environment to drill into in the spring rather than a field remaining brown through the winter. But this particular one here is a lower one. It's more of a sort of a late cover crop. Got quite a lot of brassicas, turnips, radishes in it. But the seed rate on this is plenty high enough. So this one was a little bit more on the expensive side. And because of it, not particularly big root growth. It's doing no harm to the soil. It's okay, but I feel the trouble with this one, this really was getting around to sort of £20 to £30 an acre cost, and I also think it's compromised the growth. It is almost too thick when it came up. This crop is a white mustard and a fodder radish. It's grown well. Seed rate was a little higher than I wanted, so it's put the cost of around £20 an acre. I still felt that a lot lower seed rate would have probably been better cover, but it's done a good job. This cover crop is brassicas, brown mustards, radishes. It's got a good cover, but the seed rate was high and it made the cover crop cost per acre of around £40, which I think is just too much money. It's done a good job, but for, I don't know, the high seed rate I think is really put the mocks on this one. Plenty of root growth. It's a lovely structure of the ground. Considering all the rain we've had, you can't knock what it's done, but I do question the cost of this particular crop. This crop here is much more interesting. £6.50 an acre, seed rate 3 kilos a hectare. This is a fodder and stroke tillage radish, much cheaper to grow and it's grown just as well. It's had plenty of space to grow. Much bigger, tougher old plants here, you know, really got a lot more room to grow to a decent old stem here. Yeah, good growth here, very pleased with this one. I think this is probably my favourite mix. This is a Ethiopian brown and white mustard mix, 5 kilos a hectare, £10 an acre growing cost of the seed, and it's just grown really very well. You see, the plants have had plenty of room because of the low seed rate, and this is viable to do. You see, I've got all the straw on the surface is breaking down. We've got massive wormholes here, lovely structure to the ground. We've had all this rain, yet it's crumbling down nicely. Yeah, I'm very pleased with it. This is going to really overwinter really very well. All these great big worms here, all working. Look at them all. This is what I'm trying to achieve. This is going to be absolutely fantastic for the spring. Obviously the frost is going to knock this around hard. It's going to die back. I'll probably put a bit of glyphosate on in February to control the grass weeds and any volunteers left. Then it'll give the ground a chance to dry out and warm up a little bit. By April this will be a perfect seed bed to get my next crop in, which in this case will be spring wheat. The spring wheat to go in beautifully. It'll have all the moisture, everything it needs to get away. And well, up until the last few years, all my spring wheats have yielded really well. And I'm convinced that overwintering stubbles, cover crops is the real secret to a good spring crop. Very pleased with this.